Good morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Blue Sports Report. Without you guys, this literally does not work. Been out for a little walk this morning, running some errands and things. The wife had to pick up her prescriptions, and sitting here, and I'm going through and everything else, catching up with everything that is football and all. And we have the seventh New England Patriot, Marquez Lee, who is opting out. Am I the only one that thinks that New England is tanking the season intentionally? I mean, seriously. Now, Tom Brady, of course, went to Tampa Bay and all that. They went ahead and they got Cam Newton, which is, I think actually is a pretty good move. I think that's a no risk, high reward type move right there. Worst case is he doesn't play well, but for what you're paying him, why not? But New England was actually in dire straits when it came to cash on hand. Before this opt-out, all of a sudden, New England, $24 million in cap space. And if more New England Patriots sit out, that's more cap room. So I'm sitting here thinking, first of all, there is a season. When you start thinking about the draft for next year, if you play terrible, let's say New England has half the team sit out and they end up getting, let's say, $50 million in cap space for next year. And let's say they end up not winning any games and they end up getting the number one pick. And let's say that revenues go down next year, like they said, to that floor of $175 million. You look at a team like, let's say, the Cowboys, who right now have committed about $175 million before they sign Dak Prescott. They can restructure some contracts or let some people go to get that deal done if they want to get that done, or get the long-term deal and basically really backload it so that way they don't get the hit. But it won't leave money to be able to sign other players. If you're, say, the Eagles that have that ticking time bomb where you have like $260 million of cap room, you have $260 million set for next year's cap, and the cap does go down to 175, you've got to get $90 million. $90 million. You got to restructure the hell or gut the team just to get to even, which means possibly a lot of high-end players are going to be released and cut next year. If you're the New England Patriots, you look at this season and say, man, best case scenario, there's an asterisk for the season. Worst case scenario is this season ends up being, half the season and it never concludes. But we can be in a position next year to have cash because of all these players opting out. We can have a high draft pick potentially grabbing number one pick. And we can have all this cash for all these free agents that are high quality but too expensive players to get. Because the thing will be is this: you may be a great player. You may be a great player, but because teams don't have money, because most teams won't have cap room. If you have your full roster like the Cowboys, you're not getting that cap savings that New England is. Then that's going to depress the free agent market. That means the numbers will go down because teams won't have the money to spend on them. Just like Clowney. Clowney thought, hey, the market's going to be $22, $23 million for me this year. Yeah, well, he's still a free agent. And we've heard he's dropped his numbers down to 9-10, and he's still out there. You could look at numbers being depressed like that. And if New England is in that position, hey, this is the difference of a Bill Belichick. A Bill Belichick sees the long game. He'll make the calculated risk. He would be more than happy to take this season and redshirt his team to be in a better position down the road. And that's what he's looking at. This is his opportunity basically to reload the roster. And this is where they're always ahead of the game. Damn. Yeah. And I'm betting he's having conversations with the players too. I don't have any knowledge of that. But see, here's what, you go to, because Bill Belichick is that guy who is an ultimate salesman to players, because you see great players that go for him dirt cheap because he can sell you on the idea that you're going to come here, you're going to resurrect your career, you're going to have an opportunity to challenge for a ring, and then you can go get paid elsewhere. I'm betting he's convincing us guys, listen, don't risk yourself. We're going to rebuild this thing. We're going to get ourselves in a better position for next year. After this shit is over, you get that stipend, don't worry, I got you covered. We just going to take this season to get ourselves stacked again to go through and get these runs. This is the difference of a Bill Belichick versus a Jason Garrett. You've got to think about what works today, but also what'll get you in a better position down the road. Now, I've had a lot of people out there who have claimed that I wasn't a Cowboy fan because in 2017, when the season looked screwed up, where the NFL literally messed up Zeke Elliott's head, every week it was, he was going to be suspended, he's fighting, he's going back and forth to New York, and his head wasn't right. You had Tyron Smith breaking down. You had Sean Lee, where our defense went from giving up like 83 yards on the ground a game to like 180 because Sean Lee was out. You had so many things that were just going wrong, and it was kind of like, if the Cowboys end up losing badly, maybe that would have been the time we got rid of Jason Garrett. Had a high draft pick and been able to reload. And I put that question out there. I didn't say they should do that, but I said, what if 2017, instead of us ending up 9-7, we ended up 7-9 and had a draft pick that was 6 or 7 spaces lower? What if we had ended up getting rid of Jason Garrett and had a coach in here for 2018? We'd probably be in a lot better position right now. We would have had a new coach implementing his system for 2 years now. We would have had some higher draft picks in 2018's draft, and probably in a better position than we are now. And if you don't understand that, it's not a matter of me saying I'm hoping the Cowboys lose. No, it's not a matter of I'm saying I hope the Cowboys lose. But if your ultimate goal is to get to the Super Bowl, a couple of these moral victories don't mean crap. Ending up 9-7 in 2017 and keeping Jason Garrett didn't do a damn thing for us. If Bill Belichick takes this year, gets his cap room in order when it's going to be Armageddon for everybody else next year, getting himself higher draft picks, because not only when you have a bad year and you end up having a top 10 first round pick, that means you got a top 10 second round pick, a top 10 third round pick. All your picks go up higher. And that's where you set up your next dynasty. Well, that's the difference of us versus other teams. Other teams see the long game. We can't figure out that we needed to pay our quarterback a year and a half ago to keep our salary cap in order. No, we do it the most expensive way possible. Yeah. Bill frickin' Belichick. He's a frickin' genius, and I guess that's why he gets paid the big bucks. I'm Mark Holmes, and I'm hoping you have a great, great day, and I'll see you soon.